what we must bury before 2027. Some things don't need another conversation, more closure. They actually need a proper burial. And not because we're bitter, and not because we're moving funny or think we're somebody, because actually we are somebody, but because we are tired of resurrecting what God already released and buried. Some of us keep revisiting, digging up old stuff, old versions of ourselves, old relationships, old situationships, old exes, old pictures of our exes, old explanations, old situationships, old pain, old trauma, old proof. And then we call it processing because sometimes it isn't processing. Sometimes it's rehearsal. And every time we rehearse it, we rebuild the same emotional room. And then we wonder why we can't move forward because what we keep digging up will keep delaying our rebuild. Today, we're talking about what we must bury before 2027. Hey, y'all, I'm Madison Samone Chase, also known as Miss Chase. I was raised by an incredible single mom who is my biggest fan and my BFF, my bestie, my best friend for real. I am a celebrity certified personal trainer, a fitness and wellness expert, and a sports and entertainment media host. I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, raised in Dallas, built in Los Angeles, California. I trained at Juilliard with School of American Ballet, becoming the world's only three-time ESPN Miss Fitness champion. I took that ballet training and turned it into more than 450 fitness DVDs and fitness infomercials, and the first of the 450 fitness DVDs that I appeared in was led by celebrity trainer and the GOAT, Gunnar Peterson, who's known for training the Kardashian family and Kim Kardashian. As a celebrity personal trainer myself, some of my most notable clients include Robert Patterson of Twilight and Batman, Chris Tucker of Rush Hour, and Amber Riley of Glee. As a sports and entertainment media host, some of my favorite red carpet moments include chatting with Richard Branson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Emma Stone, Tyler Perry, Tiana Taylor, Justin Baldoni, Issa Rae, and Viola Davis, to name a few. I share my accomplishments, well, not out of ego, but to honor the sacrifices my mom planted so that I could blossom and flourish into the woman I am still becoming. So if you're listening and or watching, pull up a digital chair or actual chair and grab yourself a cup of hot or cold herbal tea, and welcome to my cozy home of Cut to the Chase at 8, a 15-minute micro learning moment for macro living. And I am so overjoyed that you are here because this is where we explore and lean into life with our lived experiences, yours and mine, where we invite lots of grace in this space as we're living in some really interesting times. We chat all about spirit, mind, and body health that is ultimately our wealth in microdoses for macro living. Make sure you join me twice daily for just 15 minutes at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time because this is your 15-minute chance for your daily pause, for a cause, clarity, wellness, and intentional decision making, and giving yourself grace in this space because how we start our day and how we end it matters. Each episode, my offer to you is 3 keys and 1 question to sit with. And hopefully something that is encouraging, something practical, something grounded, and something you could carry with you. So wherever you're listening from, I want you to turn it up and tune in. And if anything you hear today pricks your heart or it lights a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe and share this with someone you care about. And please leave a comment so that this becomes a dialogue and not a monologue. And leave a 5-star rating if you feel led. Now let's start with a breath together. We're going to inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's lean into today's episode of Cut to the Chase at 8. We are going to cut the noise. Let's get clear. Let's get ready, set to grow and go and be great. The title for today's episode is What We Must Bury Before 2027. Burial doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that at all. It means you could acknowledge it and you could lay it to rest. Burial means I learned from this, but I am no longer tied to it. I am no longer living from this, and I'm no longer going to give it power. Because there is a difference between healing versus hovering, grieving versus gossiping, closure versus control, and remembering versus resurrecting. And so detoxing in this season looks like subtraction and us stopping the resurrection habits that keep our nervous system tethered to what we've outgrown. Part 1. What do we keep resurrecting? Let's be honest. We can resurrect things in small, micro habit ways. We read the same text thread. We replay the same argument. We check the page just to see. We keep a screenshot like it's evidence. We rehearse what we should have said. I've done that. And we also just live, we keep reliving that moment, right? And sometimes we call it closure, but really we call it control. And the question is, if you keep reliving it, who has control? Because if we could keep it alive in our minds, in our hearts, in our bodies, in our spirits, in our conversations, in our text messages, in our pictures, and if we keep looking at their pages from a secret page or a block page, we don't get to face the unknown because it's still living in our mind. But here's the cost. Every resurrection keeps your body in the same emotional room. Jaw tight, shoulders high, breath shallow, thoughts looping. And we can't build a new life and stretch and grow while our nervous system is still living in that old conversation. And here's the thing, when there is a shift and or a break, whether that is a relationship, in a PPT, in a person, in a place or a thing that you have removed yourself from, and we keep revisiting it and looking back in the rearview mirror, we can never move forward with where we're supposed to grow to. And so the things that we keep replaying, the moment that keeps resurfacing, the proof that we keep collecting, there's no point and it has no future. Which brings me to key number 1. We can't rebuild while we're still rehearsing the wreck and picking up the pieces. And so if we want to rebuild, we got to stop rehearsing the wreck. We got to stop picking through the rubbish and the trash and the broken pieces. Because we don't need a better argument. We don't need a clean boundary. But what we need is a better boundary, a cleaner boundary, and a regulated nervous system. Because as much as we could try to clean up the boundary, like the boundary has already happened, and the one thing we can do is learn from, okay, where did I not have boundaries? And where did that person cross that boundary? Or where did that situation cross the boundary so that I could, yes, we need a cleaner boundary. Because maybe we had boundaries, but maybe they weren't clean enough. Or maybe they weren't strong enough. And maybe we were too passive aggressive in that particular relationship or friendship or work relationship. Because here's the thing, part 2, burial is discernment. Burial is not denial. It's not denial. Burial is discernment. It's the decision that you and I are no longer available for. We're not available for repeat cycles, halfway apologies, emotional whiplash, love bombing, gaslighting, almost relationships, environments that make you shrink, proving you're worthy to people committed to misunderstanding you. And here's the thing about love bombing and gaslighting. If you are entertaining a relationship or entertaining someone, the best advice I could give is what I've learned, even in friendships. The way people show up initially is if that is their best effort, if they're not returning your phone calls, if they're saying they're too busy and that is their best, that is their best. And we have to take it for what it is. And then be willing to move on, because if you don't have high standards and or set boundaries, like love bombing and gaslighting will continue. So if someone is doing that from the very beginning, it's only going to get worse. And do you want to entertain that? And here's what we do. We keep trying to get closure from people who benefit from confusion and chaos. But closure is not something someone hands you. Closure is something you and I choose. We got to choose closure for ourselves. And that may not be them releasing us. That may be us releasing it. So the door you kept reopening the moment you realize what it cost you. Which brings me to key number 2. Closure is an inside job. Forgiveness doesn't require access. Healing doesn't require a last conversation or I need closure. Peace doesn't require everyone understanding your decision, especially when people are weighing in on those decisions. Which brings me to part 3. People, places, and things, burial audit. If we want to know what we need to bury, do a people and places, things audit. Do a PPT audit. People. Who tries to pull you back into the old version of you that you're trying to outgrow? Who triggers the old you because they're unwilling to grow? Who benefits from you staying accessible to their chaos? Their chaos, not yours. And here's the thing about other people's chaos. Like there have been situations that I have entertained and listened to, and I'm like, I got to set a boundary because I don't want to hear it. And I know that I feel things for people. And so if you're telling me about a situation that you are unwilling to do anything about it, and it's chaos and it is trauma, and you're not willing to seek help, whether that's a therapist or a doctor or someone who could help you, then you're just dumping and complaining. And I have limits on people dumping on me. Places. What environments activate you? And where do you abandon yourself just to belong? I know I've done it. I've abandoned myself to try to belong. And it took a good friend to tell me, Madison, you should probably consider. You actually weren't invited to that event. So the other question is, where do we leave feeling heavy instead of steady? That's a good one. Do you feel at peace sometimes when you go to people's homes? And you can't eat at everybody's house, and you can't eat with everybody, because depending on the conversations and depending on how secure or insecure that person is, sometimes when people are insecure, they're unwilling to work on themselves, then their insecurity will bleed on you. Things. What habits keep you numb? And what do we spend money on when we're stressed? And what do we scroll on when we're lonely? And what do we buy when we're anxious? Because again, what's in our heart speaks louder than anything you post. And what we worship often shows up in what we spend our time, attention, and money and energy on, which brings me to key number 3. What you bury becomes soil for what you're building. And some endings are not losses, they are preparation. And we're not being buried, we are being planted. But planting requires letting go of what no longer serves you or what no longer belongs in your future. And weeds can flourish faster than the plant that needs soil and good light. So here's our practical reset on what we're going to do this week. I want you to write a burial list. I release. What are you releasing? I forgive. Who are you forgiving? I am no longer available for. Number 2, pick one boundary that makes the burial real. Mute, unfollow, delete the thread, stop checking, stop rehearsing. Get rid of old pictures in your phone, physical pictures. Get rid of it. Number 3, try a 7-day no resurrection fast. Don't resurrect it. No rereading, no checking, no indirect posts, and no just one more look, and no talking about it and or bringing that person's name up or that place up or that thing. Number 4, replace the space with one rebuilding action. Move your body, tidy one area of your home, write one page about the future, apply for something. Make the call you've been avoiding. Because detox is not dramatic. Detox must be consistent. And doing and spending at least 15 minutes with those 4 steps can greatly benefit us. So before you go, I just want to say thank you from the bottom and top of my heart. It has truly been an honor and pleasure sharing this time with you. And thank you for continuing to give yourself grace in this space with me today. I am so genuinely thankful that you chose to step into this cozy digital home with me. So before you head out, let's quickly revisit our 3 keys and one question to reflect on. Key number 1, we can't rebuild while we're still rehearsing the wreck. You know, when you look at a wreck or have an accident, it normally happens in slow motion. Key number 2, closure is an inside job. And it's up to us to close it. Key number 3, what we bury becomes soil for what we're building. And soil is so important to any plant. And our one question to sit with, what am I still resurrecting that God has already released and laid to rest? What are we still resurrecting that God has said, I'm done, you should be done, let it go? And what boundary will we set this week to bury it for good? So if today's episode offered you clarity, insight, or even a pause for a cause you didn't know you needed, if there's anything that I've shared that pricked your heart or lit a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe and share this with someone you care about. And please leave a comment so that this becomes a dialogue and not a monologue, and a 5-star rating if you feel led, because it truly helps this space to grow and reach others who may need it. And before we close, I want to extend a gentle invitation. If you've been listening consistently, reflecting, or feeling something to be that moves you to act and to move just beyond listening, and you want to move into a community of like-minded people, I'd love for you to consider becoming a Chasers Champion Circle founding member. This is a foundational community for those who want to build, grow, and heal together with like-minded people. And founding members will help shape this space for what it becomes, and I'd be honored to have you be a part of that. If you're interested in joining the free community, because the Chaser Circle, it is a monthly subscription, and you could subscribe to that for as little as $3 a month or $10. You could pick whatever level you're interested in supporting. But the free Facebook group is it's her circle or his circle, 2 completely different groups. And you could send an email to me The email should be in the notes, but it's hellomc at cuttothechase8podcast.com. And thank you again for joining me here twice a day for our daily 15-minute microdose for macro living. And before we close, I want to share something new with you. I started doing these new episodes all of the new episodes for this month. February 15th was when I started. But new episodes will drop on the 15th of every month. There will be 15 new episodes released on the next 15th. So March 15th, I'll be releasing 15 new episodes. So let's close with one breath together. We're going to inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and again at 8 p.m. Central. I am Madison Samone Chase, and this is Cut to the Chase at 8. We are ready and we are set to go and grow. Let's be clear and let's be great. Blessings to you and yours until tomorrow.